Hi everyone, it's Mario Vegas, so welcome back to the Tank Zone. I already mentioned that before, but what can I do if Armored Warfare is a truly, really wonderful game with no analogs in a tank game world regarding a lot of different features. And one such feature is fire support gameplay. Well, if you feel more comfortable to do things like reconnaissance, backup fire, missile fire support, work with autocannons, do rapid flanking maneuvers and exploit mechanized infantry capabilities, then this episode is exactly for you, because today we will talk about active, medium and close range fire support. We will determine the best retrofits, some important crew skills, commanders for this duty. But the most important thing that we will pay attention will be gameplay, thinking and tactics. First of all, to be able to do active rapid fire support, you must have an appropriate vehicle. I do not want to particularly exclude any vehicle type or class, because you may perform wonders pretty much with any vehicle, do something untypical and even succeed. Say, I caught myself a couple of times rampaging through battle map city streets with my cover, like I would play BMD, and it worked. But only because I kept speed, tried not to stop, and had great team help as well. And of course, probably I had just luck. But nevertheless, in this episode, I would like to stick with AFVs and tank destroyers. And to be able to perform successful active rapid fire support, the first thing you must have is maneuverable and fast vehicle. Otherwise it will not gonna work. Therefore the acceleration and top speed should not be overlooked. Preferably your vehicle should have acceleration under 4 seconds. 3 seconds or less is ideal, and at least 65 plus kilometers per hour top speed. If you go over 70 kilometers per hour, it is just great. Of course, there are exceptions as well. Say Ramka 99, Terminator 2, Armata 15. They are not even close as agile, say, as BMPs, BMDs, Bradley or Warrior, but they compensate their sluggishness with increased armor protection, and therefore easily can be great and I would say formidable close range fire support. So anyway, if your vehicle has mentioned acceleration and top speeds, then you are one step closer to be able to perform active rapid fire support, flanking maneuvers, infantry deployments, redeployments and rapid escapes as well. I wouldn't be so picky regarding hull traverse, but if it is more than 45 degrees per second, it will be a great help. A small trick that you can perform and compensate for your hull traverse speed is that you can practice to start turning your hull in the direction of the escape route or redeployment position while you are firing. And alternatively, of course, you can fire on the move, not losing your speed at all. So, okay, we determined first things to pay attention to. It is acceleration and top speeds. Let's move on. Next thing that will be very useful is if your vehicle will have an autocannon, because not all speedy and maneuverable vehicles have one. For example, Weasel 1, NM 142, C13 TUA, they all are speedy and maneuverable, but unfortunately cannot return any fire while they reload. Closest to the active rapid close range fire support, what they can perform is hit and run or hit and hide tactics. Close flanking would be extremely dangerous, would not weigh out a risk in favor of benefits, and should be performed and considered in only extreme and desperate situations. Therefore, autocannon will be a great help. It will help to deal with opponent light vehicles, especially fast-moving ones. This is fast. It will become extremely useful if you will decide to do close fire support, flanking opponent main battle tanks from the side or behind in close combat. Missile launchers, the same as guns, have their depression limitation, and quite often they are mounted on one side of a turret. These are two of the main reasons that sometimes make your missiles useless at very close range. In these situations, your autocannon can be real game changer and save not only you from being destroyed, but help your allies a lot. And of course, it should be out of discussion that you automatically should switch to autocannon while your main weapon reloads. That should be embedded deeply down into your gamer's reflexes. In other words, you must be ready to fire all the time. Okay, the maneuverability and the never-ending fire support. Okay, if we got these two, what else can we add? So, as many FEVs and tank destroyers can carry mechanized infantry, then I strongly suggest exploiting that ability. If you place your infantry correctly, it can drastically increase your team's fighting potential. And if you play fire support, one of your direct duties is to close or control the gaps between firing groups, preventing infiltration of the enemy scouts, AFVs, or even main battle tanks. And easiest way to do that and not to be tied to that position or a particular area is place anti-tank ambushes or deploy sniper. Sometimes sniper is even more effective due to its high camo rating and vision range. Snipers are nightmares for main battle tanks. It is extremely hard to find and eliminate sniper with your main battle tank without being targeted by opponents, because usually if a sniper is placed in some certain area, it is done with the purpose to spot and target enemy vehicles in that area. So basically, in that situation, main battle tank is exposed, blind chicken, and cannot effectively return fire to firing opponents in a distance. So yes, use your infantry to fill the gaps, lay out anti-tank ambushes, or provide mortar fire at the choke points. There are 3 full episodes showing exact and precise best mortar spots in all Armored Warfare battle maps for each team, and episode about anti-tank squad as well. If you have interest in mechanized infantry gameplay, I strongly suggest you watch these episodes. Links will be in the description below the video. Regarding retrofits, crew skills and commanders. There are a couple of retrofits that can really help to perform your fire support more effectively. Gun rammer, anti-tank guided missile control unit, and optics are the most important ones and should be considered where they are applicable and necessary. On some vehicles, you may consider improved filtering system to boost your acceleration. For example, I use this retrofit on my Warrior British AFV. Another retrofit that often proves to be useful is electro-optical absorbing paint, especially if your gaming style involves some preliminary passive scouting or passive fire support phases as well. On top of that, it is useful in situations when your vehicle has been damaged during active close fire support and you must retreat and continue perform medium fire support from concealed positions. In my opinion, even more useful and important are right crew skills. For close and active fire support, very useful are off-road driving and smooth ride for driver. These two are out of question, of course. For gunner and loader, accuracy. To decrease accuracy decay rate while firing by 23%. Remember, if you fire with the autocannon, it is constant fire. It is pretty much constant fire. So this skill is very useful. And a sting like a bee to improve anti-tank guided missile control by 15%. As well, very useful skill, because your main weaponry will be, of course, missiles. So preparation, next skill, to increase ammo swap speed by 50%. Very useful skill if you are constantly switching between missiles and autocannon, or even explosive shell skills to improve module damage by 10%. And this last skill is an absolutely sweet choice if you are using Sabrina as commander for your vehicle who already has module damage boost skills. And yes, Sabrina actually is a great commander for a lot of AFVs and tank destroyers with ham module damage, spotting range and concealment skills. Another great commander for missile armed vehicles is Rashid with his great missile control, camo and module damage skills. You can assign Juan Carlos to your vehicle if you want to increase accuracy while moving and even boost your top speed, but I see him more like a light tank commander and commander for fast main battle tanks like Leopard, Leclerc, AMX, rather than AFVs, or even less for tank destroyers. There are special tank zone episodes dedicated to all of these commander skill trees with different possible setups. I will put links in description for you. But the most important element and part in your close range fire support success is tactic and your thinking. First thing that you must do to succeed, you must have a clear battle plan. So let's start with the things to avoid and gradually go into the things that you must to do. First thing, do not go alone. Never ever and nowhere. Do not go alone. Simply alone is no fight, and there will not be anyone to support in the first place, right? Do not rush to support anyone. Better rush to deploy your infantry if you have one. If you don't have infantry, then take tank destroyer or conceal the scouting position. From this point, pay attention to the game development, where enemies start to appear, how they are laid out on a map, what are they doing, where are they moving. If you have a chance and good reason, you can start firing. Well, if you prefer not to give away your preliminary, say, scouting position, then of course hold your fire. When the main choke point and encounter areas are developed, go ahead, decide where your help is either most needed. Say, if one flank has less allies than the other one, a good tactic is to go to help that weakest flank. On the other hand, if you see that on the one flank your team is close to breaking it, and your help with a sudden strike from the side or rear can be decisive, go ahead and crack that flank open. If the flank is absolutely uncovered or your teammates hesitate to do the right thing, try to convince them to fix these issues and try to insist. But never go alone. Call for help or ask them to follow you. A good example is in the footage where our team spots that the west flank in a pipelines map is uncovered first, and then I insist with pings that Makava should help to seal and secure our west flank, therefore giving us opportunity to control whole west flank with the sand dunes overseeing opposite side of a river and wide areas behind that. As we saw in the footage, to succeed you must be aggressive, relentless and determined. If confronting main battle tank in close combat, your advantage is speed, maneuverability and autocannon fire. So therefore use them instead of missiles. Again, you can see that in parts of the footage where I intendedly switch away from missiles to autocannon to engage tanks in close combat, even in situation with formidable mech cover. Don't be shy to eliminate targets hanging on the last bits of health, even if nicely camo painted teammate brawler already dealing with that tank. There is no time to waste in a battle. In next second, that same brawler can be targeted by enemies' fire support from the back or from side, and then you will blame only yourself that you did not finish that opponent. So yes, psychology is important as well. So don't be scared or shy. Just go ahead and do what must be done, even if that means snatching kills. Snatching kills is much better than doing nothing. Less enemies means less guns and closer to victory. This especially applies to the games with lower tier vehicles, say tier 1 to 5 with many new players. No problem guys, listen me, believe me, just go ahead and take those enemies out. It will be a great help, because sometimes even for experienced player it can be hard to get to the weak spots to enemy tank, especially if it desperately tries to avoid being shot. Sometimes the game situation requires you to be in multiple areas. You as a fire support should be and should act as some kind of special unit, if you like, that can swiftly react and go help on the opposite flank, rear parts of a map, even behind enemy lines if it is necessary, or if that risk is weighed out by great reward possibility. These are the things that should be kept in your mind and should be spotted timely. If you do fire support nearby your mechanized infantry, especially that applies on the place with a mortar, and if situation changes and you and your mortar may be more useful on the other flank, then go ahead, grab your mortar, do not leave it behind without job, redeploy it near the next fire support area and go ahead and perform fire support duties there. Believe me, mortar redeployment of course can take some little bit of time, but it may turn out very important. And last thing to mention, and probably it is one of the most important ones, is you must keep your vehicle behind heavy armor and not in front of that. You must jump out to flank, sting, run and redeploy and do that again. But you must always remember that you are driving a thin can. right? That is a not match to conventional close range frontal tank encounter. Therefore, avoid return fire as much as possible. That's it for today. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and following Tank Zone. Have a wonderful day and see you in next episode.